Hey everyone!
Hey everyone!
We're about to get involved in a cooking with Craig and Kathy tonight. But before we do, we'd like to cheers to all of you. Thank you for watching our funny
informative
home
cooking videos, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch us. And for those of you that have tried some of these dishes, I hope you enjoyed it, and always love your feedback.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks guys.
We're lucky to be cooking all this wonderful food, and we're lucky for what we have and all of our friends and family, and so cheers to everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salute.
Before we begin, we have to cheers with wine.
Cheers.
Good stuff.
Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Craig
and
Kathy. What are we making tonight, Sweet Pea?
We are making one of your favorite dishes.
And what might that be?
Homemade beef stew.
Oh, and that is so good for this time of year when the weather starts getting a little nippy.
It's really good to have on a cold night. And it's warm today, but it's supposed to get cold, and this is going to be really good for a cold night.
And another reason I like that is because I am a meat and potatoes type guy, and this has both of those as the main ingredients.
Yes, that's right.
So what's your first step now?
First step is, at the store, I bought beef stew meat. You can buy it, and it's what it's called. It's called beef stew meat. And it comes in these little packages. I don't know how big these packages are. Don't know the weight, but I get 4 of these. The recipe that I'm going to post later calls for 2 packages, but I like to double the recipe because then it gives us enough to eat tomorrow. So 4 packages of the beef stew meat. And the first step is to brown the meat in a pan with olive oil. So that's what I'm doing right here, if you can see, babe. Show the viewers at home what I'm doing. So I'm browning the meat right now. As soon as that's done, I'm going to transfer this over to a dish, and I'm going to cut it in smaller pieces. So we're not fully cooking the meat, we're just browning it. It's still going to be pink on the inside. You just want it brown on all the edges, and then you want to cut it in smaller pieces. And then we'll show what we do with that afterwards.
Alright, we just finished browning the meat, and here is what it looks like on the plate.
Yep, we're actually doing one more batch of that because we used 4 packages, so I'm about to brown the second batch now.
Alright, what you doing now?
Okay, what I'm doing now is all of the meat, stew meat is browned, and I'm cutting them into smaller cube type pieces. You don't want them too big.
Yeah, you want them like bite size.
Yeah, like bite size. So just like that. Pink, still pink on the inside.
That's pretty much how I eat my steak anyway.
It'll cook thoroughly in the stew. So I'm just cutting them down and cutting any excess fat off so that, you know, there's not too much on the meat. I don't like it too fatty. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, so what we've done is we've browned all the meat. It's all in this big pot, and it's on 4, so about low to medium, somewhere in between there would be fine. This is going to cook for about an hour and a half on low. So the meat is in here. Then what we did was we added 1 whole medium onion, diced and chopped really well. I'm just going to add the rest of that in there, a whole onion.
If you could only smell this, it's, oh my goodness.
Smells good. So that's the onion. And the next thing I'm going to add is the beef bouillon. You can either use 4 of these beef bouillon cubes, which comes in this little box. It's Knorr. Or you can use, and 4 cups of water with that. Or you can use 4 cups of beef stock. I prefer these, just taste better, I think. So that's what I'm using. I'm going to add those next. Adding the last beef bouillon cube. There's 4 of those in there with 4 cups of water. The next thing is it calls for 1 tablespoon of butter. And I try to use the, I can't believe it's not butter. It's healthier for you. Yep. And the next thing I'm going to do is add sugar. it calls for 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, and one of these little packs equals a teaspoon. So instead of 1.5, I'm doing 3 because I like it a little bit sweeter. So I'm adding 3 of these.
And do you really need to put the sugar in because you're so sweet and you just touching the stuff I think would sweeten it up enough?
Oh, that's awful sweet. The sugar really adds flavor to things. So it's good to add this, it's important.
And also it takes the acidity out of the tomato paste.
Yes, that's true. And I'm sorry for my voice, I'm getting over a cold. I have laryngitis and it's been lasting over a week, which is rare for me. The next thing I'm going to do is add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Not sauce, but paste. And I get these little jars, these little cans. They are, what size? 12 ounces. So 12 ounces of any kind of tomato paste is fine, doesn't matter what the brand is. And I add a little bit more because I like it tomatoey. So heaping 2, and then I always add another good one, 3. That's about good. The next ingredient is paprika, and it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, so I'm just guessing, but about 1/2 teaspoon, that's about right. And it wants parsley, so it's optional, you don't have to add it, and it's to taste. I put about 4 teaspoons, something like that in there. I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest because I don't have much left. So about 4 teaspoons or 5 teaspoons of parsley. Okay, the next ingredient is beer. This is important. It adds a lot of flavor to your stew. So I'm going to do my husband the honor and open this unless you'd like to do it.
I'll let you open it there.
Okay. We get Miller Lite. We just like the flavor.
Can I have a sip of that?
No.
Oh, come on.
For the stew. So pour the whole thing in there.
Look at that.
Bubbling. And it calls for salt and pepper.
Not the group salt and pepper, but the real salt and pepper.
About 1/2 teaspoon of salt, because the meat is salty a little bit. And a little bit of that. And pepper is to taste. It just depends on how spicy you want it. I add maybe 2 tablespoons of black pepper.
And spicier the better for us.
Yeah, we like it spicy. And the next ingredient is Worcestershire sauce. And we want 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. That's what the recipe calls for, but we like the taste of Worcestershire, so I add maybe double that. 3 probably tablespoons.
Slurp.
Okay, so that's basically all of the seasonings and main ingredients to this stew. At the last 30 minutes of cooking, this cooks for a total of 1.5 to 2 hours. An hour and a half is usually plenty of time. So the last thing I'm going to do, and not right now, we'll come back to this, is I'm going to chop up potatoes and carrots. And that goes in the stew for the last 30 minutes of cooking. Once these vegetables hit the liquid, it doesn't take long for them to get soft. So that's why we wait until the last 30 minutes. So we'll come back to that.
And what you got going on over here?
Hey, well, it's now 30 minutes to the time that this is going to be done. And I am now chopping carrots. You can either get whole carrots, which is fine, or I get the packaged already washed carrots, and I cut them in halves. And I'm going to add an entire bag of these. I have another bag in the refrigerator, so tomorrow when we heat this back up, if we want more carrots, we can always add more.
Hey, looks like we're on the final steps.
Yes, so now I've chopped up all the carrots, which is one of those bags I showed you. And now I'm cutting up in quarters a bag of these gold potatoes. They're tiny. I just cut them in half and then in other halves. So basically in 4s, like this. And once the whole bag is cut up, add that to the stew, put the lid back on for another 30 minutes until they all soften.
Then can we eat?
Then we can eat it.
All right, woohoo!
We usually serve it with either garlic bread or Hawaiian rolls. We have, they're already out there. Maybe Craig can show you. We get a package of Hawaiian rolls, which are sweet, and that goes really good, complements the stew really well. Or you can get just a big baguette of French bread, that also is good, or garlic bread. And you have a nice, hearty stew. It's very yummy for the tummy, especially when it's fall and winter. Enjoy, everyone.
Well, that's a wrap, and thank you for...
Hey guys, we're all done, and we're getting ready to eat. It looks hot and bubbling. I don't know if you can see it, but I think it's done, and we're really excited to eat it. Hope you guys are having a good night, and I hope you try this dish. It's really good.
Really good. I definitely recommend it, especially on a cold winter's night.
Love you.
Love you. Thanks for enjoying another episode of Cooking with Craig and
Kathy.
Peace.